And welcome back to Jen and Dan's Natural Healing with Plants, the go-to podcast for holistic health seekers looking to harness the power of nature for health and healing. I am Jen. I'm a passionate health educator. I'm a whole food, plant-based culinary coach and a master herbalist. And I'm here with Dan, who's an exercise specialist and a wonderful master herbalist. Together, we dive into the world of natural healing, bringing you a wealth of knowledge and practical advice. We draw from both traditional wisdom and modern science with herbs and foods to help you achieve optimal health. So, today we're definitely diving into natural healing and traditional healing systems. And there's one thing across all of the traditional healing systems. I don't know why I'm using the word systems, but it's that all disease begins in the gut. We heard that from Dr. Christopher at the School of Natural Healing. We heard that from Dr. Schultz, and we just hear that over and over again, even in Chinese medicine, things like that. So it doesn't matter, you can be eating the best, quote and word quotes, right? Best organic, plant-based, nutrient-dense, clean foods. But if your digestive tract is out of whack, something's going on in there. It doesn't matter how clean it is. We have to fix that first, whatever that means. So I want to begin with our medical disclaimer because I usually forget to say that. So all the information we're providing today is for educational purposes only. We are not doctors. We do not treat. We are not your one-on-one coach unless we are, and we will speak privately about that if we are. Otherwise, do your own due diligence in researching herbs and things that we talk about during our podcast. So in traditional systems, digestion is the foundation of vitality. And so instead of asking, is this food healthy? It's asking, is this the right food for this person right now? So let's kick this off, Dan. Where should we begin?
Well, I think a good place to start is I'm not trying to make anybody mad, but the raw food kick, like some of these teachers to tell you that raw food will heal anything and that everybody needs raw food no
Yeah,
matter what's wrong with them.
right, right.
And I'm not against raw food. I do believe that we do need it, but if the person's really sick, especially in their digestive system, you don't want to start out feeding them raw broccoli and all this stuff because it's going to make them worse. Dr. Christopher talked about this, and he believed in raw food too, but he also says somebody is having trouble digesting. You
Mhm.
don't want to feed them a bunch of raw vegetables at first. You want to cook even the fruits sometimes, depending on how the person's digestion is. We
Mhm.
want to start to correct the digestion first.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you brought that up. Yeah. And I'd even forgotten about that. But even so, at the School of Natural Healing on the mucusless diet, mostly raw, but he would start the day with like soaked whole grains. So when we talk about oats, you hear studies about oats and things like that. If we're talking about oats, the best form of oats is oat groats. That's in its most whole form. If you buy oats, you want to make sure that they are definitely organic because and if you are gluten free, which we are, you want to make sure that they are certified gluten free. Oats are naturally gluten free. However, they are always, and I'll repeat that, they are always harvested with the same equipment as other grains. And so if you need gluten free, you want to make sure that it's certified gluten free with oats. Yes, they're naturally gluten free, but they're always carried in vehicles on the same conveyor belts and stored in the same areas as other grains. So you want to be careful about that. But at the School of Natural Healing, they would start, sprout them, sprout whole grains overnight, and then that would be breakfast the next day. So starting off with raw sprouted whole grains and then other vegetables. But if you're someone who tends to be cold all the time, eating cold raw salads, cold fruits, things like that, that's not going to help you. You're going to stay cold. And maybe we need to warm your body up and give you some more warming foods, like you said, some gently steamed vegetables, maybe some stewed vegetables, even, and then even the cooked fruits. And the other way around, too, maybe you have very sluggish digestion, lots of constipation. Why is that the biggest concern? Well, for us, if things sit in the colon too long, then that is when bacteria breeds and grows. That's when toxins are recirculated. You know, your liver breaks down hormones and all these different chemical metabolites, leftover, broken down cells, proteins, amino acids, I should say, things like that. They go into your digestive tract. And if they sit there too long, then they're reabsorbed and recirculated, and it taxes the liver as well as it's a breeding ground for other things. So if we need to speed that up, then we want to start adding in more raw salads and raw fruits and juices. That's really important to speed things up and get things moving along.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I really believe in raw juice, even though I don't juice enough sometimes for myself. But I remember Dr. Schultz talking about raw juice because if somebody is really ill, they get to where they cannot digest or hold on to anything except juice. Because juice, it takes, I think, 15 minutes for your body to process it into the bloodstream.
Right.
So if you're really, really sick, I'm not going to say how sick because, but I think you get my drift. It's a good place to start is raw juice.
Yeah, I agree with
Most
that.
people aren't that sick. I'm just saying.
Right. I love juices too, and I incorporate juices at least like you, at least 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Maybe more. I will have juices as well. I do like vegetable juices over fruit juices because we do remove all the fiber and most of the US, at least, I know we have listeners all over the world, but most of the US is metabolically unwell. It's 93% of Americans are metabolically unwell. That can mean something related to the heart, the liver, or the blood sugar. And so with juices, when we remove all that fiber, you have a better chance of spiking blood sugar, throwing off hormones, and things like that. So I do like vegetable juices. For me, I like a blend. I love ginger and lemon and celery for other reasons that we'll talk about on another episode. But I do like to juice those every day. They're very alkalinizing. You know, juices are just an easy way to add vitamins and minerals to your diet, to your body, easily absorbable in a much better way than using supplements.
Oh
We live in
yeah.
a supplement world, and how many people do you have that come to you? What should I take for this? You know,
Everybody.
herbs. What should I take for that?
Everyone. And, I'm glad they're asking questions,
Right?
but when you're asking me what should I take, you're totally missing the point. You should
Yes.
always start with food. Food is the foundation that health stands on. It's like a house. If it
Yes.
doesn't have a good foundation, that house isn't going to stand too long.
Right. Food first, always. Yes. Yes.
Supplements, they call them supplements because they're supposed to supplement your
Thank
diet.
you. Yes, I say that. I say that to clients all the time because they're tracking. They're like, "Oh, I put it in chronometer and I'm eating all my vitamins and minerals." Well, what if you took all your supplements out? Would you still be meeting those needs? Because we don't know what the body does with those supplements. It takes a lot of energy for your body to break down capsules, especially a tablet. How
Oh
much of
yeah,
that is going to survive through your stomach acid, right? Get it
not
from your real
much.
food. Yes, if food provides all these other phytochemicals that we don't even know and understand yet, where they're not going to be in the supplements. You know, supplements, like, okay, let's talk about herbs for a second. So, one of my favorite herbs is lobelia. I know I've heard Rosemary Gladstar say one of her favorites is comfrey. Well, those have been banned for various reasons in different countries and at different times because when you make an extract of a chemical in there, it can be highly toxic. It doesn't mean the herb is toxic. Well, the same thing happens with our vitamins. Taking vitamin C versus eating a red bell pepper, you may get more vitamin C from eating the red bell pepper. You're also getting the whatever's creating that red color. You're also getting all those chemicals that are in that white part inside the bell pepper that I like to cut out. That's nutrient rich, you know? And so we're getting so much more when we eat a red bell pepper versus a vitamin C capsule or tablet or supplement where we don't know what the body's actually doing with that. Are we even absorbing that vitamin C from that pill? And is it going to provide any benefit?
Well, I recommend for a lot of my clients and other people who are asking questions, go to, or what is it? I call it chronometer. Maybe it's chronometer. I don't know.
I use both as well.
But it's actually really fun. You punch in all the foods you eat for the day, and it gives you all your vitamins, all your minerals. And if you're short, you can just add foods and make it up. And that way, you'd be surprised how much you're getting. I mean, we're plant-based. How much nutrition you're getting in a day eating plants.
Yes.
It's crazy. But then you can see, okay, maybe I need to eat a little bit more of this and a little more of this and do that. Get your food right before you think about supplements because I take herbs, but
Mm,
herbs are more nutritive. I'm talking about, like a hard capsule. I have these capsules of zinc, they're tablets. So like these hard tablets.
yeah.
I don't think your body can break that down.
Yeah, I don't think your body can break that down either. And it's going to put so much taxing on the body, it's going to
Yeah.
create more toxins breaking it down than the benefit, in my opinion. Yeah.
I believe that. And as we're talking about this, we're talking about digestion.
Hmm.
Well, we're just talking about it again, but for me, especially this time of year, I'm doing a lot more soups and
Yeah.
things like that. And I feel like my body absorbs things better when they're cooked well.
Right. I do too. I think we're cold. You're cold, you need to warm up the body and help
Yeah.
that. Use warming foods to help you absorb. And I'm drinking a lot more herbal teas. So I have, my tea here. I'm drinking a lot more herbal teas this time of year than I do in the summer. I don't know why. Well, in the summer, I have different herbs that I use, but we have to look at herbs and spices not only as quote supplements, but as food. They're
Oh
food.
yeah.
Yeah. And
An
so like,
herbal tea
yeah.
that you have, all kinds of nutrition.
Right. Right. Yeah,
And
so much.
easily assimilable. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was
It's
going to say
easy.
we don't see our herbs as food, but they are. I mean, not only are you sprinkling them on your food, but a lot
Yeah.
of foods, like here in the U.S., burdock root we use as an herb, where in other countries it's a vegetable, and so it is, right? And like nettles is used as a vegetable in most parts of the world. Where here it's just in your tea or in a formula or in your supplement. Let's get used to using these as food, not as supplements, and not taking it for this, but taking it to help boost your minerals, right? Not
Yeah.
because you have a rash or you have a headache or whatever. Maybe you're missing nutrients and you need to focus on adding more foods and things to get those nutrient needs met.
And herbal teas are excellent and for everyone, but if you have digestive problems, your body can absorb nettle tea, it can absorb marshmallow tea, whatever you can think of.
Mhm.
And that I would look at that as a mineral supplement because I take Dr. Christopher's bottle herbs.
Uh-huh.
It's nutritive. Herbs are nutritive. They have so many vitamins and minerals. And for the secret to being healthy and for healing is to get all your vitamins and minerals every day. You want to get over nutrition. You want to get because the body cannot function correctly without the vitamins and minerals. So we want to make sure we're getting all those things to stay healthy. And if we're sick, we got to have those to get healthy again.
Right. Right. So what about when people are afraid to eat certain foods? So
Oh,
I can't eat this because it has lectins or it has phytates, or I can't eat beans because then I have gas.
oh my God. So there's some people out there right now that are really confusing people, but
Yeah.
it's not very honest. They're
Mm-mm.
trying to sell things. But there are certain ways to prepare some of these foods that you're being made to be afraid of. Beans, grains, things like that. That's
Mhm.
why we soak them. You've always heard you gotta soak your beans.
Yes.
And in fact, they're talking about lectins a lot, how they're so bad, but of course you can soak your beans and your grains and get rid of some of those lectins, but there's also other research about lectins. They have benefits. There's actually some lectins have anti-cancer benefits,
Yes.
immune system benefits.
Hmm.
So there's also a positive side to all these things. And
Yes.
there is some truth to some of the things in foods that maybe can block absorption of certain vitamins and minerals. But if you're cooking everything right, where your body can digest it, you're soaking your beans, soaking your grains, that's not a problem.
Mhm. And rinse
And
it.
I like pressure cooking. I don't know about you, but I've seen studies where pressure cookers get rid of a lot of your lectins and things in your beans. And it's supposed to. I've seen articles where pressure cooking actually retains a lot of your nutrients. I
Yes,
don't know.
as well. Yes. Yeah. So lectins and phytates, as long as we soak them, we say sprouting, soak, rinse, toss out the soaking water, and then cook and cook until they're well done. Grains and beans. Now, some grains you can be eaten raw, sprouted. Some beans can even be eaten raw, sprouted, but you want to make sure they're sprouted. I personally prefer them all cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do eat sprouts, but usually not bean sprouts or grain sprouts. Well, actually, I take that back. A lot of times I will soak oat groats overnight, and I
Yeah.
will eat them for breakfast. They have a nice chewy texture, and so I do like that. But that removes those phytates and those lectins that people are so afraid of, and you don't have to take the supplement. You just need to soak them and cook them, and tossing out that soaking water and cook them appropriately.
Yeah, overnight oats is a big thing and they're delicious too.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I love that. Yes. And so, um, when we're talking about traditional methods and traditional eating, like I said in the beginning, all digestion, all disease begins in the gut. So we have to focus on the gut, making sure the gut is healthy. We haven't talked about poop in several episodes, but we need to make sure that you're going after each large meal. Just like a baby or a puppy that you're training, they eat, their stomach swells, the signal's sent down to the bowels move, and they go to the bathroom. That should be happening to you. And we lose that signal. We lose that listening to what's going on in our body, which is another important thing. In We are in such a go 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 world 24/7, always communicating with people or watching something, getting this constant entertainment, this constant stimulation. We lose our own body signals. But then we also go to school and work, and we're shamed around poop, right? Asking to go to the bathroom, having to go to the bathroom, going to the public bathroom, not being able to go during classes, stuff like that. And we lose those signals. We stop listening to what our body needs. And so, A, you feel the urge you need to go. But B, also listening to your body on what it needs today. So if you really pay attention, your body will let you know, hey, a cold salad is not going to be right for me today. I need steamed vegetables today, or vice versa. Or I need more juices today, or more warming broths, and maybe less raw vegetables. And so it's really getting to listening to your body and learning what my body needs today, and then combining foods and herbs that also help with that. So, with our digestive tract, first of all, we want it to be moving after every meal so that we aren't reabsorbing toxins. But we also want it to sit there between our meals because we need to absorb nutrients from those foods too. So we don't want anything moving too quickly, either, which we can talk about in another episode. But we also need to eat foods that help stimulate digestion, stimulate the breaking down of our foods, like bitter foods. So bitter is definitely something that we don't eat as much here in the US, but eating bitter greens, even just starting small, having chamomile tea is very bitter, but it's a little more easy for people to tolerate. So starting with something bitter and learning to change your taste buds so that you're no longer looking for those sweet foods, but having things like ginger, mint, chamomile, that traditionally were used after a meal to help with digestion. And so using herbs that way to stimulate digestion, stimulate those digestive juices with bitter greens, but then calming digestion, helping with the digestive tract after a meal with things like ginger and mint and chamomile.
Yes, and there's some other cultures too. They actually have a ritual where after they eat dinner, they go for a little 15-minute peaceful walk, and it helps your digestion. It also helps your blood sugar.
Yes, just moving after your meal. Yeah, I love that you
Mhm.
shared that. Yeah, I got a walking pad here at my desk, and so after My meals, I just come and if I can't get outside, I just come walk on my walking pad for a few minutes after my meals. And I know that
Yeah.
helps me. I mean, just even just moving things along. You
Yeah.
move, it moves your digestion along as well. So yeah, so we need to wrap up for our episode for today. If you enjoyed this recipe, I do have recipes on my website, so you can check
Oh
that out.
yeah.
But if you enjoyed this episode, please let us know. Share it with someone that you love, someone who's afraid to eat phytates and lectins. Let them know that they can eat those foods. They can be safe. Anyway, you can find out more about Dan at danthenaturalman.com and more about me at Holistic Jen. That's with the W. I am holisticjen.com. I'd love to hear from you. Share this once again, and we hope to see you again next week.